watakuona ukiangalia huko. Tupige tu story yetu hapa.
Everywhere, GBS.
And welcome back to GBS Morning Extra. My name is Timothy Omondi, and as I promised earlier, today we have with us in studio teachers or people in the education industry who will help us discuss further about the CBC. Today we want to demystify the curriculum-based, the competency-based curriculum, and it is a topic that is, I would say, trending in our society today. Many parents are aware that the curriculum is, of course, changing. But do they know anything about this curriculum? What knowledge do they have about it? What information do they have about it? We've heard of teachers training. What was the training? What was the scope of the training? And who attended the training? We also heard that there was public participation in the same. And actually we have a bite that we'll run later on with the Cabinet Secretary, Professor Magoha, assuring the President that there was consultation and that public participation did indeed take place on 47 forums. Where were the forums held? Who attended the forums? And what was discussed in these forums? These are some of the things that we would like to look into today. But first, before we go further, Ashford Gikunda, we have you in studio today, the CEO of the 7 Skills Educational Solutions. You are also a teacher.
Yes.
Karibu sana kwa studio.
Thank you.
Krinas Onege. Yeah, earlier we were joking and I was asking, is he Greek? I mean, the name sounds like... So, gentlemen, welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
And maybe to just... I would like to give you this opportunity also to just greet our viewers, but also, you guys are teachers.
Yes.
For how long have you been teaching, Bana Ashford?
I have been teaching for the last 15 years.
15
in
years.
Private schools. Yes.
In private schools?
Yes.
Not public?
Not public.
That's quite a long time, eh?
Yes.
And Krinas?
You can call me Chris.
Chris, oh, Chris, oh,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah.
Making it much easier.
I've also been practicing as a teacher in the private sector for about 12 years now.
12 years.
Yes.
Why not public?
You see, when I graduated from college, I didn't get an opportunity to be absorbed by the TSC.
All right.
So I took what came my way. And since then, I have enjoyed.
You have enjoyed the
I
private
can't
sector.
regret, yes.
Well, is it the same case or your case was different?
No, it's not the same case because some years back, quite a number of teacher trainees will always wish to go to the public sector before. Actually, when you are completing the 2-year course as a P1 teacher, you are being absorbed into the government, the public schools because of the benefits that were there then.
Yeah.
Nowadays, there's no much difference between the benefits that are there in the public and private schools. And also, the government cannot be able to run the education sector alone. So they also need the private sector.
Yeah, to kind of complement what
E-
they're doing.
Exactly.
Now, gentlemen, I would like to pose this question to you guys. Let's first start by, today I promise our viewers that we will be talking about the CBC, or the competency-based curriculum.
Yeah.
Maybe you can just start by helping us define or demystify this beast of CBC, because it sounds like something very big, something very technical, very unique. What is the CBC? Maybe we start with you, Bona Ashford.
Okay, thank you. Competency-based curriculum is a skill or talent-based curriculum. And we are transitioning from the one that was knowledge-based.
Yes.
We call it KBC, the 844,
All right.
which started around 1985. And after some years, I think the education stakeholders carried out a research, and they needed to change the curriculum.
Yes.
And I think after years of research, they settled on the CBC,
All right.
which is seeks to nurture and bring out the best in every child. And from the onset, my personal view is CBC could not have come at a better time. Because if you look at the labor market and the world we are living in today,
Yes.
requires a child to nurture their own skills. You know, sometimes I pause and ask myself, some of the subjects I did in my primary and the high school, what benefit do they serve me?
You've never used them.
I have never used them. All along from the beginning, I knew I wanted to become a journalist.
Yes.
But the environment was not created for me to become a journalist.
one.
Today, through CBC, we are creating a very good environment from the beginning for a child to become whatever they want to become.
All right.
And anybody not becoming what they want to become will not have to blame the government or the environment, like it happened in our case.
Sure.
Yes.
Now, Chris,
Yes.
still on the same.
Yeah.
Practically, I would like you as a teacher to explain to me practically how different is the CBC from the, today I learned it's called the KBC, the knowledge-based curriculum. Yeah?
Yes.
What's the practically speaking, what's the difference in the classroom?
The difference is this. In the KBC, that is the knowledge-based curriculum.
Yes.
This is a curriculum that was, if you look at how the Kenyan child has been going through the education, you realize that once a child is branded a failure after the national examinations, this child has nowhere to go to. These are the children, that the youth that end up being wasted into the streets in our country. Now, if you look at the difference as a teacher, you realize that the much difference has been in the introduction of some learning areas previously known as subjects that were not there before.
All right.
We have the psychomotor skills, we have the creative art skills and all that. So the other thing is that learning previously in the 844 curriculum, the knowledge-based curriculum, was teacher-based. It is the teacher talking, instilling the learning, the concept into the learner, but you get that in most cases the student or the pupil is not learning. So what is changing is that it is learner-based. The learning has been taken back to the child.
Okay.
So in a 30 minutes lesson, for example, the teacher takes very short time to introduce, then takes learning to the child. So the child must do. They must practice.
Okay.
So after practicing, another thing that has changed is that there must be digital literacy infusion in every lesson.
All right.
So from the teacher to the learner does everything. The teacher ensures that learning takes place.
Yes.
There's digital literacy infusion, and very little homework. Yeah.
Very little.
I can chip in
yes.
and say the KBC curriculum is about the teaching, and the teaching means the teacher dominates.
Okay.
The CBC is about learning, and if it is learning like here now, it means all of us are taking part.
Contributing.
Yeah, exactly.
The same.
Yes.
And again, you see finally from the transition from junior secondary to senior secondary, that child who was not able to do very well in the exams, they have 3 pathways to choose from.
All right.
We have the STEM pathway, we have the arts, and we have the social sciences. Yeah.
Oh, that's very interesting. I mean, now, having said that, you're talking about this kind of learning is about talent, the talent that the kids have and stuff. Looking back, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, some of the best athletes or sportsmen and women who are earning millions of money today as compared to, you know, guys in the job collar or the formal industry, most of them were not very good in class. Did we not see this, or why did it take us so long to, you know, liberate our learners from that cocoon that we had locked them in, where, you know, it's about the teacher and it's about cramming and just marking exams and so on and so forth?
I only think it is because of the fear for change. And it is unfortunate it has taken the country those many years to realize that we are actually doing a lot of waste in education. And if you hear some of the guys who are fighting the CBC, it is because of their own interest. if they take time and interrogate, especially that analogy you are giving of people who have talents are the ones who are excelling. Like myself, I am a victim.
All right.
Because I believe if I followed my dream, I will not be where I am. But now, I followed the system. And the system was about exams.
All right.
Nothing else mattered. Grade, etc. Like now, when we do the report forms, we no longer write grades.
Okay.
We describe. Yes. And when you are describing, you will realize every child is an A somewhere. Yes.
Sure. Now, still on the same, a child goes through how many years? Is it 12 years? 8 years in primary, 4 years in secondary school. And after the secondary school exams, that's the KCSE, then if this kid gets a D or an E, then the whole 12 years are counted as a waste.
Exactly.
Because with an E or a D in your leaving certificate for the secondary school, then you're termed as a failure.
Yes.
And as a society, we've been branding our own children as failures based on what they're learning or what we are trying to make them learn in school. Away from that now, I would like us now to look into this very important question that many people are asking today in Kenya. There's a big wrangle right now going on between the government and teachers. I don't want you to pick sides, but I mean, is it fair? The wrangles that are going on right now, is it fair for the learners? Because teachers in the public sector are actually threatening. There's a looming strike over the country. We don't even know whether they are going to go back to class on September 2nd. That's according to the NAT officials and the kind of rhetoric and statements that they've been talking to the press. What's the big issue between the government and the teachers?
I think the wrangles are not good in the education system. They are not healthy because they are going to derail. The government is very clear that the implementation of the new curriculum must go on. So we need to bring everybody on board, and it's only fair to listen to all the parties. There are fears, when everybody, sometimes change is not easily accepted. For example, you see the NAT draws most of its teachers from the primary section. Then we have the CUPET basically from the secondary section. School, now there's this issue of the junior secondary that ideally are the current grade class 7s and class 8. So there could be some fears that the current class 7 and 8, which will be the grades 7 and 8 and 9, might be in the secondary section. And that's a huge chunk of teachers that may end up going into the CUPET side.
Okay.
You get? So those are some of the fears. So I think that the government, all the stakeholders should sit together and listen to one another so that there's a healthy discussion and we have a good implementation of the new curriculum. Yeah.
Now, still on that.
Yes.
I would like us to look into this matter where we find that teachers are complaining that there was not enough, consultation with the teachers, and especially the government is talking about training teachers. They've trained dozens of teachers since the beginning of August because the rollout for the trainings began in the month of August, if I'm not wrong. Now, if you look at that, and I want us to run a clip of the CS saying that there was trainings that were held, and secondly, that there was public participation. Public participation, I don't know in this concept. In my concept or in many people's concept of public participation, it's informing the parents and the public as well, getting their opinion on what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. Because sometimes even parents go to school and they don't seem to get exactly what this new curriculum is. And whenever they ask questions, I'm sorry, once I also asked a question in school when I went to my kids' school, and some answers really did not come out clearly. There are answers like, that is the just information for the teachers. Your parents don't have to worry about how we are going to maybe assess grade 3s and grade 6. And this time we had the president come out very clearly saying that grade 6 will not be assessed.
Yes.
Yeah. But then let's listen into this bite by the CS, especially on public participation, and then let's base our argument on that.
We have had public participation at the highest level, where we have had 47 different dialogues which were open to the general public without control. Inputs were taken, Your Excellency, and nobody should say that he or she has been gagged.
I want to ask a very straight question. Which one among you attended any of those forums, the 47 forums that the CS is talking about? Among you two, is there anyone who attended any of those forums?
Yes, I did. Yes.
I also did one at KICDS.
Yes. I don't know, maybe the ones who are complaining are from the public sector. But in a private sector, through the association, Kenya Private Schools Association, they have done numerous stakeholders consultation meetings. Even now, as we are talking, they are going on. Yes.
So among the, maybe if you, for the interest of our viewers,
Yes.
in any of the forums that you participated in, because Magoa was very specific, 47 forums where ideas were taken in and there was discussions,
Yes.
right? Which one, where did you attend this, and what was the discussion, or what was the discourse in this?
The one that was at KICD basically is about the new curriculum framework.
New curriculum framework, yes.
Yes, how we are supposed to implement this new curriculum, and especially the CBA, the competency-based assessment. It is true that the public participation has not been very adequate. Even the 47 ones that the CS is talking about are not everybody has participated because there are selected few. You get stakeholders, and again, it's also voluntary. So if you don't take the initiative and attend, then you might think that there are no consultations.
Then can we say that NAT officials are really justified in complaining? Because as much as we want the change, it is very difficult for the government to actually implement the new curriculum, the CBC, if the teachers are not fully on board. You understand? Because someone would want to give this challenge. Oh, maybe with the private sector, you guys, got resources and stuff, so you can send your representatives and stuff. But then when it comes to the government, the processes and bureaucracies of, getting money to send teachers to go and attend some of these trainings and forums, it becomes quite hectic. Are they justified in, because you admit that the public participation has not been really adequate as we would wish it to be.
Yes.
It's goodwill. For example, the last batch of the last batch of trainees, or the last training that took place before the one that is going on currently, the private schools had a rough time because they were not allowed into some of the training centers without paying. But as he has said, the KPSA through the CEO, Mr. Peter Ndoro, ensured that there was a consultation, and this time round, it's very well organized. The private schools teachers are being allowed to go into those trainings. The other thing is it's about goodwill. It's about goodwill, so that if you have to send your teachers, you have to send your teachers because that is the way to go.
All right.
Yeah, but it is true. For example, we are having the grade 3 assessment.
Yes.
Before the assessment that takes place, I think between 16th and 20th of September, we've had a community service that has been taking place in our markets. Yeah, you realize one school has told their parents of grade 3 learners to go and buy the stuff, the masks, the aprons, and the other schools realize that the story is different. They're being told now, for us to be judged well, we need to improvise. So there's no need of going to the supermarkets to buy the aprons and all that. So we have one school in the same market with commercially prepared things. We have another school with the box and improvise. You get? So nobody was there to give this information.
So the uniformity in terms of implementation of this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The other thing is one of the assessments, for example, is we're using a portfolio file. We have a showcase portfolio, we have a working portfolio. If you are to walk into these schools, and I just don't know what is happening in the public schools, because in the private schools where we are trying all we can to ensure that we implement this CBC.
Even us in the first place, we bought box files because we didn't know what they meant by a portfolio.
All right.
So I think the officials are justified because of the manner in which the rollout is being carried out. Yes.
The other thing is about the NAT is complaining about is there should be a gazetted commission,
Yes.
a very good guideline and a gazetted commission to ensure that this CBC is implemented well. So that is not there. So they are also justified to say that it is not well.
So what's the hurry in the side of the government? Why not just do the same? Because this is learning. This is not something that you just come, it's not a marketplace that you just come and do something haphazardly, you know, with ad hoc decisions and then walk out and expect that it will work. This is a system that we're setting in place that is going to go a long way. And actually we are implementing the whole idea, if I got you very correctly, and if I had the president also in his speeches during the 3rd National Conference on curriculum reform at the KICC, is that they want to enable and support our children to be able to be productive.
Exactly.
Right? But then if we don't set good structures and systems, how is this going to work if teachers are not satisfied with what they are being given to work with?
You see, this is a huge project. It's a huge policy shift. So these are teething problems that are bound to happen. That's why I think the government decided to implement the CBC in steps. Like right now, we are through with the preschool up to grade 3. Right now, as we speak, the curriculum design, previously known as the syllabus, for the grade 4s is already in place. I think by the time we're implementing it up to the senior secondary level, we will have dealt with these issues.
Because the president the other day is on record stating very clearly that grade 6 will not be examined.
Yes.
Explain to me as a teacher, how does that work? How do we send this kid to
You see, the government
the
is
next
talking,
level?
is talking of a 100% transition.
100% transition?
If you bring in the issue of assessment, then you'll not be able to get the 100% transition. Yes. So one of the ways of ensuring that there is 100% transition is to eliminate exams.
That exam.
But you know very well, most sectors in this country are run by cartels.
All right.
And you know, there are people who thrive through selling exams. So they are the ones who are trying to fight and show that there is no enough consultation, those kind of things, so that their business will not die. Yes.
Now, maybe if I just touch a little bit, and I would like us to take a break before we come back and discuss this more. The question of training teachers on CBC, like you mentioned, some of your in the private sector, you guys are required to pay in order for you to attend some of these trainings, which is not the case with public schools, I hope.
Yes.
But then, what is this training what are the training areas that teachers are taken through in these trainings?
The training areas, one is the methodology, and the other thing is digital literacy. We also have the teaching and learning aids preparation, because this curriculum being a child-based curriculum, the teacher is supposed to use a lot of resources. And also another important area of training is the assessment. Yeah, like you were saying about doing away with the exams in grade 6. One of the assessment tools that have been brought with the CBC is the assessment rubrics, whereby we have 4 areas. You can gauge a child whether they are exceeding expectation, meeting expectation, approaching, or below. So that is not as intensive as the exam where you just pick on a child goes through a subject for 8 years. Then you want to pick 50 questions to gauge this child.
To gauge this child.
Yes. So I think one of the most important areas that teachers have not been well equipped is the assessment. Yeah.
Then one would want to argue that as you do this, if these areas have not been covered very well, and especially in terms of training on how to handle the kids in class, and this I would like to throw at you, Bwana Ashford.
Yes.
Then you as a teacher, you trained for probably 3 years, more than 3 years.
Yes.
And there are those also who've gone up to university and had degrees and stuff.
Yes.
So you've trained for 3-4 years, and now here we are.
Yes.
We have a training that runs for days. You attend maybe 1 or 2 trainings. That's about 3 days. And you're expected to implement a completely new curriculum. And then we're expecting also for the children to pick up and learn from you. Whereas you as a teacher, you are also not yet fully equipped in terms of implementing this new curriculum. Is there no danger in this, what you're trying to do, as much as it is transitional?
Not exactly, because before KBC, there was another curriculum. And when they were rolling out KBC in 1984 or 85.
85, 87.
They didn't come with the new teachers. The same teachers who were there, they were taken through the trainings. And when we go to college, there is a unit we do which is called the teaching methods. When you do that, you are taught how to teach. Meaning even if the methodology changes or the subject changes, you should be able to adapt. Because if you are just stuck in one way of teaching, it means you're also a dangerous teacher.
Then how long does it, because if this is a unit, it wouldn't take you a day or two to learn a unit. Probably you'll have to do a couple of months to learn a particular unit.
Yes.
But here we are, and you see, when you're in college as a teacher, it's a daily thing, and it's something that you're researching and you're learning even also, of course, from your lecturers and so on and so forth. But here we are, you are at a forum, maybe you're given, teachers' workbooks or what do you call them? Materials that teachers use to teach.
Yes.
And you're left on your own to go and implement. That's why we are hearing of, the ununiform implementation, where some people go to the supermarkets and buy whatever is needed, and whereas some people decide, okay, let's improvise and do this. Isn't this a danger? Isn't there another better way of doing this, of training our teachers to be able to absorb the new curriculum?
I may not be able to speak for the public schools, but we are doing a lot. We are investing a lot in the private schools. The way the trainings are designed is that we have national master trainers who who train the CSOs, the curriculum support officers in the zonal levels. From there, these CSOs train the TOTs, the trainers of trainers. Then from there, now the TOTs through the CSOs now train the teachers. For example, right now, the head teachers were supposed to attend the first day of training on 19th. Then we have at least one teacher from between grade 1 to grade 3 and 2 teachers grade 4. Because next we are implementing grade 4. You get? So what the private schools are doing through Kenya Private Schools Association is that after the trainings are done, like the 5-day training that is going on right now, we again go back to the CSOs and the TOTs, and we organize for several trainings thereafter to ensure that our teachers are well equipped. I can assure you that after this training, the private schools through KPSA are going to organize for several trainings. We've done this, and we are working with those, some of the pilot schools. Like we are working very closely with the CETAM schools in Woodley, which was a pilot school.
Additionally, you see, this curriculum is being rolled out in phases, and that's why they started with the piloting program. And when they were choosing the schools to pilot, there is a criteria they used when they were settling for the 470 schools to do the piloting. And piloting means it is something you are testing before you do a national rollout.
To help you adjust.
And it was also giving the government and the stakeholders a feedback. So whatever was not working, I believe they were trying to make it work, or they were learning from it. Yes.
Well, we have a bite where Magoha is talking about the issue of assessment for these kids, and he's saying still there are teams that are working on it. So it's probably still work
Yes.
in progress.
Yes.
It's probably still work in progress. Maybe we will take a short break, but then when we come back, I want us to discuss more about the scope of training for teachers as well. But then there's also another issue that many parents are worried about. We are just talking about this, you know, we are talking about a certain level, but then what happens to the kids now who are not under the new curriculum?
Okay.
You know, not many people are discussing about these children. And if you see where the debate is centered right now, it's all about, you know, we're talking about grade 3 and we are only concerned about grade 6 and so on and so forth. But then what happens to the kids ahead? We'll talk about that after the break. Viewer, if you're just joining us, we are taking a short break. You're watching GBS Morning Extra. And today we have with us in studio Ashford Gikunda and Chris Onege. Teachers, both of them teachers have been in the education industry for quite a while, more than a decade. And we are discussing about the CBC. We're trying to demystify the competency-based curriculum and trying to get to understand what it is all about and how it will work and how it is even working this time. So we're going to take a short break, viewer. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back with more.